Well, I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
It's an honor, sir.
There's been a gap from, I believe your last full album was in 2011 until
Yeah.
now. What led to the recording of the new album?
Well, we're sort of a band of gaps. We were originally founded back in the 80s in Örebro, Sweden, by I wasn't a member of the band back then. And then they had some sort of career going. And then heavy metal just died, and people sort of split apart all over Sweden due to studies and stuff. And then uh, people ended up in Uppsala, Sweden, and back then we started working on. And then they had one drummer who I don't know before me who something tragic happened to him. I don't know, he got a family or a job or something that wasn't
Mm.
combinable with doing heavy metal. And I joined the band back in 2008, 10 maybe, and we recorded our first album, Proceed to Hell. Which was released, and yeah, it was released. It was an album, uh, and then we lost our guitar player to career, job, family. Things happen in life that aren't heavy
Sure.
metal. Uh, and then we had for a long period of time we were looking for a new guitar player. We found one. Guitar player called a very talented guy called Larth Wadestorm, which also happened to be possibly the most unlucky guy in the world. uh, when he joined the band, it started up with us deciding when to rehearse, and he came to the rehearsal room at, I don't know, it was like 11 every day, every time we were supposed to rehearse, but he thought it was 11 in the evening and 11 in the morning, and we never really got to meet him then. We started back in then maybe 2012. We wrote the title track, and we started writing that. And then he cut himself with some sort of freak kitchen accident and cut off
Wow.
some part of his hand there. And then we lost, I don't know, a half a year or a year or so, and then he got back into the band and was single at the time. And then he started dating and found some strange woman. So we had to go and pick him up late at night because she was sort of stalking him outside
Mm.
his house. So that made things a bit more complicated. And when he finally started to get back to playing with us again on the first rehearsal, we had a good time. We turned up the volume like you do when you're kids, and bam, tinnitus. So that was his. You're not supposed to. He's doing good nowadays, but he's not playing music, and and he's taking care of his tinnitus and other stuff. And then that took some years, years ago, and things happen in life. And then we finally found our current guitar player, Mr. Rogan Flugelhorn. Maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. So it's been a while since then as well. And then we started writing our latest album, I Dwell in Hell. And things takes time. You have families, jobs,
Sure.
careers, and we've been writing it in periods and working on it sort of pretty much all the time with different grades of intensity, but always the same passion. Um, and then we released it. It was supposed to be released in, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and we have postponed it and postponed it and postponed it, and finally this May 8th we released the album, preceded by 3 singles, and yeah, now it's out.
And I wanted to ask you, you talked about I Dwell in Hell, the track was one of the earliest songs
Yeah,
that were recorded. Was the album named after the song, or was the album a working title before the song?
I think it just yeah, probably a working title, and it's sort of catchy and sort of heavy metal cliche in a way that's fun to play with. and it also is sort of a good opening song. It's sort of the song has an intro itself, so it suited as I don't know if I don't we haven't really thought about it actually. It just happened to be that way, and it also has a. For me personally, I wrote the lyrics to the song, and the first, I thought it was a pretty fun thing to have. The first line is "Conductor of Ashes." I don't really know what it means, but it's back in Sweden in the early 90s. We have a huge wave of death metal with a lot of great bands, and then a lot of not so great bands that were pretty obscure. And one of the most obscure bands were a band called Comicon. And the fifth track on their debut album was called "Conductor of Ashes," and I thought
Oh,
it was
wow.
a fun little wave to that time in my life, and very, very thin reference. So yeah, it just happened to be that way, and we're fairly happy with it. It sticks, and it has that childish catchiness to it, and that kind of works with our type of heavy metal.
And another track that I thought was a standout track on the album was Metal Detector. I wanted to ask if you could speak on it as well.
Yeah, it's actually we have a very interesting character in Sweden who's sort of a cultural personality. Originally, he was known as he was competing in shot put,
Mhm.
and was sort of famous there, and made some music that wasn't excellent, to say the least, but very, very funny. He's quite a character, and a lot of things happened about him. And then he started, he's done pretty much everything. He started a political party in Gävle, where he lives, which sort of didn't happen a lot too. He's been selling the Swedish product snus, which is a tobacco product. He's been I think she sold sex toys at some point. At some
Mm.
other point, he sold the hats that he made himself, and he's an artist, and he's quite a character. And his latest life project is being a metal detectorist, and he runs around in Sweden digging up, finding metal, which is
Wow.
illegal. And every time the government captures his metal detector, and there's some process around it, and he gets his metal detector back and some fines, and then he gets back on detecting metal, and he's doing some campaigns for legalizing metal detecting in Sweden. It is legal, but you're supposed, if you find old stuff, you're supposed to hand it into museums,
Sure.
and therefore, yeah. And that's sort of, we also made a single with him back in, I don't know, 2015 or so, called "Ensam i min eka," which is his one of his more famous song from his shot put days. And now he does pretty good music, actually. You should check him out, Jimmy Nordin.
Yeah, I'll
um,
definitely check it out.
yeah, so we thought of making actually Rogan Flugelhorn wrote the lyrics, and they're pretty good, I think. Listen to, I think it's pretty funny, and sort of a celebration to this amazing cultural and everything persona, Jimmy Nordin. So that's where Metal Detector is from.
And speaking on lyrics, I wanted to ask you, what are the basic lyrical inspirations for the band?
Basically, it's sort of heavy metal cliche. It's about we're not a satanic band like that, more in the footsteps of like Twisted Sister and those
Mm.
band. It's pretty easy to write lyrics about, and then we have some as most of the songs are sort of specific. The band The Grimmitest Reaper isn't called the song The Grimmitest Reaper. You know the band Grim Reaper?
Yes, very much
Yeah,
so.
very much so. That's why the song is called The Grimmitest Reaper, not The Grimmest Reaper.
Mhm.
It's actually when we started writing it, Mr. Drunken, who's the singer, had a sheet of music, and we were doing a cover of a Grim Reaper song called, what is it called? It's called something. I don't remember right now. And he just had this sheet of paper and just wanted to have some lyrics to use. He used the Grim Reaper lyrics, and then it turned into a song, but we sort of kept the Grim Reaper lyrics. And then we reached out to Steve Grimmett and Grim Reaper and asked him if we were allowed to use his lyrics to the new song. So actually, the lyrics to Grimmett the Reaper is written by Steve Grimmett. It's from an old
Wow.
Grim Reaper song. Unfortunately, Mr. Steve Grimmett happened to die before the
Yes.
album was released. But that's actually uh, a Grim Reaper lyrics to our music. So Steve Grimmett is the writer of the lyrics to that song. But unfortunately, never got to hear it himself.
When I first was introduced to him, I heard the song "See You in Hell" from the
Yeah,
first one, and I was hooked with that band from day one.
yeah. He had such an amazing voice. Even later in his career, he
Mhm.
says amazing. They never really made it. I think they ended up like a bit too late in the 80s, and heavy metal got pretty uncool fast then before it got cool again. But they're really underrated band with amazing videos. Really that 80s B
Yes.
movie feeling, with Ratman doing rat stuff and guitar solos when fighting monsters and stuff. They're really cool. He's a great voice. So that's our tribute to him.
And we can't talk about the album without talking about the album artwork. It's absolutely amazing. I wanted to
Thank
ask
you.
who is responsible for that artwork?
It's our singer, Gr Drunken. He's doing a lot of it. We actually, yeah, he's pretty creative with doing artwork. I think so. That's he who does it. Also, um, our first album was called "Proceed to Hell,"
Hmm.
uh, and that's a Monopoly. That album cover is an unfoldable Monopoly board with hell references and stuff, so you can actually
Oh.
fold that out and play Monopoly on it. And that was also his work, yeah, I think, and so I think I used some connections of him. But thank you. It's yeah, it's thank you. It's very heavy metal. It's supposed to be very heavy metal.
And now this album's out. I wanted to ask you, what's the next step for you?
Uh, we know right now it's I mean it's work. The next step for me, I think, is a pair of I need a pair of jeans speedos the way Lemmy Kilmister had. So that's the next plan for me. And then I mean we have been a start stopping band, so we're about to start up again. And right now we're a bit late out for festivals this summer, but we're looking
Yes,
for festivals next summer, and some shorter tour this autumn, but festivals for next summer, we believe. And then there's a lot of work around it. Releasing an album is one thing. The album has to be good is the second thing. Getting some sort of good reviews, which we gratefully have had pretty good reviews. And then you need to do the road work, and the road work today is pretty much social media.
sure.
uh, yeah, so we have, and we're old men, so we're not very good at it. So we hired a very talented social media manager called Nixie Estbröte, who's helping us with getting reach through social media. And as old man, heavy metal man, we'd rather do it in another way, but that's how it works
Sure.
nowadays. And you have to play with the rules. So that's probably what we're going to do in the nearest future, and then some sort of tour this autumn, and hopefully festivals next summer.
And is it safe to say we won't wait another 15 years for the next album?
Yeah, we we had said so many times. It's safe to say that this year the album will be out, and this year the album will be out. And I don't know, with Methoxide, nothing is safe to say. But we probably, I don't know. It's maybe we'll release some. singles next time, maybe release separate songs. It's a lot of work putting an album together. There's a lot of weight, and
Mm.
nowadays you can release things like singles in a different way. So that's the plan on starting this, maybe this autumn, this summer, starting to write new songs and release them a little bit faster. So maybe some new songs later this year, and an album maybe in 3 or 4 years or so. Maybe play around a little with making videos. There's a lot of things you can do around
Mm.
music, which
Sure.
is it's not just music, and people can complain and not like it, but it's also fun to do stuff, to do videos, to do artwork, to I see creativity as a sort of our kind and my kind of creativity is sort of a playground centered around music, but there's a lot of things you can do. Doing social media can be pretty fun if you embrace it. Yeah, probably some new video. We have themes for our songs that reaches out for certain communities that we want to bring up. We have looking for a good day to die. Have you played? Do you play video games?
Oh yes.
Yeah. What games do you like?
Mostly, I may play mostly race car games.
Yeah, race car games. Yeah. What ones?
Like Indy 500 and also stock car racing.
Yeah. Do you have a real big simulator and stuff?
No, it's not real big, but I
No.
use my 55-inch TV for it.
Yeah, yeah. Our song called "Looking for a Good." Do you know the game series Dark Souls?
No, no, I
No,
do not.
it's about that. It's a specific song about the Dark Souls 2 game that yeah, you gather souls experience, and that's about the horrible feeling about running around with a lot of souls on you, and you have to find a place to die where you can go back and pick them up. So it's a pretty dystopic sort of song based on a video game. So we're probably making a video for that, and sort of small celebration for that community. But maybe I don't know if we have anyone playing race car games, but maybe a song about that.
And I wanted to ask you, can you take me back in time and tell me how your musical journey started?
As a band, I think there were they grew. I wasn't a member of the band from the beginning. It was four. It was Muerte de Arriba. It was G.R. Drunken and Luke Bastardo and some other guy who I don't know who he was. There have been a sort of a rotation of drummers during the years. It's
Mm.
been pretty Spinal Tapish. Uh, Drummers come and go like stray cats in this band. And I think I'm the one who's been there for the longest time. And they had a band back then and started recording like Lis Porta studios that back in the day, and they grew up together and started making music and had some small success on the local scenes there, and then sort of I suppose grew up that some people do, and most people grow up, and then late you have to do your things. You get your kids if you want kids, you get your job, you get your education, you drift apart from your friends. And I think for all of us it's been what it all comes back to when you've done all your things, and the smoke has scattered, or what you say in English. You want to get back to the music and doing what you loved as a teenager, and the passion for music never died. And then they kept doing music. They had the drummers coming and going like Stray Cats, and then I think I had some other band back then, and I don't th- I think I saw some advert or something, and Luke Bastardo sent me an email, and I started playing with a band, and we played for I don't know a year or so, and then we wanted to take it to the next level and actually record an album. So that's where I dwell in, proceed to hell happened. So I think it's I don't know. I think you have yeah, I think for all of us, we wanted to, after doing our adult lives and getting our education and jobs. You want to get back to the music. That I don't think that leaves you if you have it in your soul, and it sort of dragged us into it. And I don't think we have had a choice but to do the album. Actually, we have to get the music out.
And we spoke a little bit about how the music had died out in Sweden for a period of time. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, how are things now? How is the club scene in your area?
The club scene is, I mean, unfortunately, lots of clubs. So I live in Stockholm, and there's not, unfortunately, a lot of clubs. There are some clubs actually, not specifically for heavy metal, but the scene is pretty good. There's some pretty good stages. There's a lot of festivals nowadays.
Mhm.
I don't know what's it like. Do you have a lot of festivals?
We only have one festival in Ohio called Incarceration that's really
Yeah,
big, but we have tons and tons of rock and metal clubs.
you do.
Yes, Akron and
Cool.
Cleveland is full of good clubs, and now
Really?
they're starting to form in Columbus, Ohio as well.
Wow. We don't have that. You have to be pretty big to be. There's a couple, maybe two or three club scenes uh, that's niched, but then there's a club scene, but there's a lot of bands. There are lots of heavy metal bands in Sweden. There's
Sure.
a lot of lots and lots of metal, and I think these festivals are pretty much a big thing in Sweden. We have this huge festival called Sweden Rock with, I don't know, 30, 40,000 attendants. And then lots and lots of smaller festivals with maybe, I don't know, 3 to 10,000 attendance each year. So the festival scene is pretty good. It's pretty, I mean, lots of people arrange festivals for local bands and
Mhm.
medium-sized bands. So I think the festival scene is pretty good in Sweden. And heavy metal is big. There was a time in I think you were, I think it was all over the world back in I don't know, early heavy metal and hair metal sort of died in late 80s.
Sure.
Uh, and then sort of thrash metal, death metal took on and was a pretty vibrant scene back in early 90s. And then in the middle of the 90s, it just died, at least in Sweden. I know one of the concerts I went to, the band Entombed?
Yes, very much
Yeah.
so.
And you know the band Meshuggah?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I saw them in Borlänge, Sweden. I think we were 8 people there. Meshuggah and Entombed toured, and there was an attendance of 8 people when I saw them.
Wow. That's
Metal was
unreal.
absolutely, absolutely. They were speaking to the bands up on the stage, and the stage was this high. And we were talking about the songs. Metal was absolutely, completely dead and uncool in every possibility. We weren't. There were customers at the pub, mostly complaining about the noise.
Wow.
When and that was Meshuggah and Entombed.
My
Uh,
favorite band from Sweden would probably be Soilwork.
yeah, yeah, very talented. Yeah, we have. Yeah, I know them very well. I think it's Michael Amott from Carcass, right?
Hmm. The
Yeah,
last,
and
my very first interview is 7 to 8 years ago was with David Anderson
yeah, cool.
before he had passed away.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, listen to your pod. Really, really cool. I really like it. Your passion for metal really stands out.
Yeah, I felt driven to it because I'm quite a bit older than you. I'm sure I'm at 60 years old, and
Yeah,
the my graduating class was, just listen to the 80s music and on and on. Even though they're huge metal fans, they still listen to the same 300 songs they did way back then. And
yeah,
I said, I need to get the word out that metal's doing better now than it's ever has
yeah.
been. You know,
Yeah, but it's very, very easy to get into that same kind of loop. You get back to your bands you listened to when you were 14, 15, 16. And I for me personally, I have to fight it. I've heard Clandestine by Entombed a million of times. I've heard Stay Hungry with Twisted
Mm,
Sister, an amazing album and always will be. But there's other music as well. And maybe it's not. I don't need to hear it 1,237 times. There's new bands to check out.
sure.
Uh, but I also think in the metal scene, at least here in Sweden, there's a lot of female bands coming out.
Hmm.
So from 50% of the population doing metal, it's 100% of the population. And there's some really interesting thrash bands. It's really, really cool female bands. So and if you go to festivals, there's a completely new generation of metal fans doing metal their way, and it's a really a living community.
Yes, and I still get that feeling as a youth and going to a record store when I was
Yeah,
a kid. Yeah, if a major band had a release at midnight, they'd start selling the album. So you'd show up the record store at midnight
yeah,
and
yeah,
start because they couldn't release it a second earlier. It had to be at midnight. And
yeah,
we'd line up, and I still get that same feeling when I hear new material, and it's great. Like that
yeah.
same kid in the candy store when they get that album in their hands.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's everything else kind of gets old. You've done pretty much everything you wanted to do a lot over and over again, and things aren't as exciting anymore. But when it comes to music, for me, it's yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm still exciting. I'm that 14, 15-year-old kid again, feeling wow, can things really be this cool? Is it possible that music can be this good? Uh, and that never grows out of me. I was last night. I was looking through my phone to remove pictures because it was full, and I found pictures from festivals 4 or 5 years ago, and I started thinking about all the bands I've seen throughout the years,
Sure.
and it's been such an amazing journey, and I just sat to myself and thought, wow, if I were to go to bed tomorrow, today, and not wake up tomorrow, having seen all this band, I would be at least with that part of my
Yes,
life so
absolutely.
happy, so blessed. I
Absolutely.
got to see Morbid Angel. I got to see when they were at the best. I got to see Black Sabbath in the first reunion in '98 in Milton Keynes. I saw Ministry when they were at their best. It was and also a lot of the bands are coming back. I saw bands that I dreamed about seeing when I was 13, 14,
Sure.
like Massacre and this really old school band Venom, and so it's fortunately it's an ongoing journey. But if it ended now, I feel blessed with all the great music I've seen, and
Absolutely.
all the fantastic people I've met, and it's a very vital and important part of my life. And if you're a metalhead, I think I think we should be happy that we have something that keeps us together and keeps our clocks going and
Absolutely.
keeps our motors ticking even when life is tough. You can still have access to that sort of intense positive feeling, and I think we're blessed in that way. We who do music and listen to music and talk about music. I could
Sure.
spend the rest of the
Absolutely.
life talking about music. That's also amazing. I never get sick of talking about music, uh, as long as it's music.
And you released this album that's amazing from top to bottom. I wanted to
Thank
ask
you.
you, what is the best way to get a hold of this album and any merchandise that you have?
Right now we're setting that up. We only released it right now on the digital platforms, but later this year we're setting up with all the. I think it's probably falling on also on social media, and we'll be able to sell merchandise that way. But right now we just wanted, okay, don't do the merchandise. We don't do the physical albums. Out with the album, because that would take another 10 year. Things will they show up. Things will happen. So we just wanted it out as soon as possible, and then probably hopefully later this year, physical products will be available. But our social media, Instagram, and we're not yet on TikTok, but I guess we have to be there at some point.
And
Uh,
and it is true. And more the shortest wait for vinyl is like 6 months anymore.
Yeah, but my vinyl is coming back, and I think I mean I was thinking about that. How it was, we had the things in our musical life and our ways to experience music that today's kids will never understand.
Sure.
My children, I mean, they have never been in a situation where there's music that they know exists, but they don't know how it sounds.
Right.
At the same time, you know that the music, the band, the release of album, you know how it sounds. You and I, we could have weeks, months, and we knew an album was out, and we had to order it somewhere, and
Sure.
maybe it was out of stock, and you didn't have the money because albums costed a lot of money, and we were
Sure.
kids, so you could wait 2 months to get an album, and you know, yeah, Morbid Angel has released a new album. I wonder how it sounds. And
Mm.
sit around and discuss, wow, or what will it be like? And
Yes.
then when you open it and sit down, a few friends, and just put it on and have that ritual around it, it's very much more in a good way also, but it's very much more immediate these days, and it has lost some of that mystique.
Sure.
But vinyl is coming back, and you can still have that ritual for yourself when you're not listening to it
Absolutely.
in your ears, and just sit down, read the lyrics, look at the pictures. Yeah, vinyl is a cool thing too.
And lastly, my friend, I wanted to ask you if you could give a message to your fans, what message would you give them?
One message: play it loud, mother. I'll quote the Twisted Sister "Stay Hungry" album. I was, I think, 7 when that came out, and I tried to, and I read that it was on the last line on the album: "Play it
Yeah.
loud, mother," and that, yeah, I like that.
Well, I wanted to thank you personally for creating an album that I enjoyed from top to bottom. It's been an absolute pleasure in meeting you, my friend.
Thank you. I'm very glad to hear you liked the album.
Yes, and don't wait another 15.
No, we won't. We within one year at least we'll have released one song. I
Excellent.
promise you that one
I
song
will
within
hold
one
you.
year.
I have your Instagram, so I will hold you
Yeah,
to that.
yeah.
All right. Thank you, my friend. You enjoy the
Thank
rest of
you.
your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Take care.